Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. So I know you guys are getting this on Thanksgiving Day. However, for me, it is the day before Thanksgiving. Not only is it the day before Thanksgiving and you're watching it on Thanksgiving, but it is day one of Vlogmas for us. So, welcome. We are so glad you're here. Many guys have asked me, what is Vlogmas? And Vlogmas is just through the Christmas season where I vlog every single day, whatever I'm doing. If we're cooking, you're going to get cooking. If we're shopping, you're going to get shopping. Whatever. And then once December gets here, we do special little things like open Advents together and so forth. So during Vlogmas, our videos are always going to be a day behind. Hence, why you're getting this on Thanksgiving Day, but yet for me, I am filming it on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So you're going to get a lot of my Thanksgiving prep today. So, with that being said, happy Thanksgiving and welcome to Vlogmas with the Farming Pastor's Wife. So, all right, today I have tons of cooking to do, and I just have not felt any pressure at all. And it's to the point where I have felt so little pressure that I'm actually feeling pressure that I haven't felt pressure. Like, is Thursday going to get here? Is tomorrow going to get here? And I not have anything ready. So, with that being said, I better get to going. So this morning we're going to start by boiling some sweet potatoes. That's how I prep my sweet potatoes for my candied jams, for my sweet potato pies, everything. That's how I do it. And, I just prefer it that way. I've tried it all the other ways. I've tried it in the Instapot. I've tried it in the oven. I've tried it in the microwave. I just like putting it on the stove. It peels so easy. I mean, the peels just literally slide right off. And I think a lot of the moisture that comes from boiling it helps with that. It's just my preference. But however you like to prepare your sweet potatoes, you do whatever you like to do. Let me tell you, it is Wednesday again, November 27th. It is about 45 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The high is supposed to be like 58 today. I am in comfortable clothes. I'm in a Christmas sweatshirt, kind of oversized, cozy. I'm in sweatpants because I know I'm going to be doing lots of prep work today. Bryant is actually over at the farm, working the farm. And then he has a ministry call. He has to go to a hospital up in Winston-Salem today. So, and then I have a few little groceries I need for him to pick up. What am I going to be preparing today as far as getting us ready for Thanksgiving? All right, I'm going to make my sweet potato pies. I'm going to boil my sweet potatoes. Maybe go ahead and make my candied jams. And go ahead and get my dressing put together. I'm probably not going to bake the dressing until tomorrow, but I'm going to put it together. Now, normally when I make my dressing for turkey, I actually put some chicken in it. I don't think I'm going to do that this year. I don't have a rotisserie chicken, and I don't know that I'll get one in time. I can send Bryant to the store, but I'm just not sure. So we'll see. But I'm going to get it mixed up and ready to go. And get my sweet potato pies made, my chocolate pies made, and Isaac's pumpkin crunch that he has requested. So we're going to get all the desserts made today and out of the way, possibly my candy jams, and we'll get my dressing put together. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to run some water in this pot that has my sweet potatoes in it, and I'll see you back with whatever I do next. Happy Vlogmas! And happy Thanksgiving. So y'all, I did order a new microphone and it came yesterday and it is charging as we speak. So hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a microphone up and going. But until then, I've had to draw you up closer to me so you can hear me. So, and plus my oven is loud. When you turn the oven on, a fan comes on and it's a little loud. So. All right, so what we're going to do is in this mixing bowl, we're going to get our first pies in the oven, and that being our sweet potato pies. So I've got about 4 cups of sweet potatoes here. I haven't mixed them well, but I just pushed them down enough to see that I had about 4 cups. All right, so we're going in here with that. Let's go in here with 2 cups of sugar. My sugar is kind of clumpy. It must have got into some moisture somewhere. This makes 2 pies. All right. And to that, we're going to add in about a tablespoon of vanilla. We're going to add 2 cups of milk. Now, my original recipe, this came from my mom. This was my mom's recipe. Calls for 1 egg. But I am going to, try 2 eggs. Just to help it set up. Eggs are really good, like in custard style pies, to help them set up. I know this isn't a true custard, but it's similar. There's no flour or anything. So I'm going to do 2 eggs. I think that will be just fine. All right, and now I need to go melt a stick of butter and add in here. All right, I'm going to pour this melted butter, and I'm actually pouring it on the opposite side of the eggs. So not to do any cooking of eggs. I know it's going around, but it's had a chance to cool off before it gets there. Now I'm going to use a hand mixer and mix this off camera. It's loud, plus we don't want this Vlogmas video to be an hour long. So I'm going to mix this up real quick. All right, it's all mixed up, and I'm getting ready to pour it in the pie shell. Now listen, I have said many times on the pie crust, if I am just baking for fun during the day or whatever, I can make my own pie crust. And if I want to do that, I definitely can. However, when it comes to busy seasons like Thanksgiving and so forth, there is nothing wrong with a store-bought pie crust. They have come such a long way. They are so much better than they used to be years ago. They have pretty much got them just about right. So when it's a busy season and I'm doing a lot of cooking, I take no shame in using a store-bought pie crust at all. No shame at all. But if you like to make it and you have time and like you're just in charge of desserts and that's all you have and you have plenty of time, now you can keep them in the freezer. You can make a whole big batch of homemade pie crust, keep them in the freezer, and just pull them out and thaw them. That is perfectly fine. I don't, 1, have the freezer space for that, and 2, I just don't ever make up that much at one time. So here is my mix. I mixed it off camera, and we're just going to pour it into 2 pie shells. The only bad thing about a store-bought pie crust is that it oftentimes cracks. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see, this one is cracked, but hopefully it will, as it gets in the oven, it'll kind of go back together. And hey, it's going to get crunched up anyway, right? Woo. Had a little extra batter, I think. I'm not going to scrape the bowl. Normally I do, but I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to overflow them. So we're going in a 350-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes until they're set. So hopefully adding that extra egg will help them set up just a little bit quicker than normal. So, all right, but know that my normal recipe only calls for 1 egg, but we're trying 2 eggs this time. So I know some of you are already asking, where are the spices? Where's your cinnamon? Where's your nutmeg? Not this girl, not in her sweet potato pie. I want to taste the sweet potato. I don't want to taste the cinnamon. I want sweet potato. Even in our persimmon puddings, if you guys are familiar with persimmon pudding, I do not put spices. Ugh. And I've had it with spices. I do not like spices in my persimmon pudding, and I don't like them in my sweet potato pie. And I think that's because, of course, that's the way I was raised. And I really want to taste the sweet potato. Now, go into pumpkin. I can take a little spice, One, because my mama did not like pumpkin pie, so therefore she never made it. So the first few times I had pumpkin pie, I had it with spices. So when we make the pumpkin crunch cake, you'll see that I do have spices in that, but not in my sweet potato pie. Not this girl. I want to taste the sweet potato. Now, I don't have everything I need for my dressing, but because I need to send Bryant to the store for some of that. But I can do some prep towards it. I got the pies in the oven. I don't want to put together my other pie until those come out. Oh, and I didn't tell you one other thing that we're going to be working on is also we got to get our brine for our turkey together. And get it put together. Sorry, I'm peeling an onion. All right, so what I'm going to do just to, I like to do this. I don't think most people do. I don't think my mama did. It's something I like to do. I like to saute up just a little bit, just lightly saute the celery and onion that goes in my dressing. And I think it's mainly because of the celery, not so much the onion, but I don't like to bite into anything that's, I mean, I know it cooks in the oven and it gets soft, but sometimes it's not soft enough and there's a little bit of a bite to the celery. So I like to go ahead and saute it up just a little bit, just slightly soften it. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm chopping the onions right now. I've showed you how I chop an onion. How if you go cut it in half from top to root, cut it in half so your root's in half, your top's in half. That way, and then diagonally slice towards the center and then come down. You don't have to do those sideways cuts like this. And it makes beautiful little chopped up pieces of onion. So I'm just chopping up a small, medium to small onion. Ooh, my eyes are burning. That's when my contacts come in handy. All right, so onions chopped. I'm going to get a frying pan out and just like a little saute pan and some butter. And we're going to get this sauteing up and then we'll chop up our celery. All right, so let me show you. I like to cut off this bottom end. I don't use that. And then I also like to take, if they leave on this little top part, I cut that and I can use that in the turkey. Especially these with leaves, they look pretty sticking out of the turkey. So I just kind of slightly, and I like to pull any strings off as we go. And so yeah, so now I've got two pieces ready to go. I'm going to chop up about a cup worth of celery, and we'll get it sauteing. And I'm going to cut these in half. Alright, so I'm going to get these chopped up, and I'll see you back when we get these done. And remember, the smaller you get your pieces, the less likely you are to bite into a big. I like the flavor of celery. I think it's a texture thing I'm not fond of. So I like to get mine fairly small. But sauteing them up definitely helps with that. So I'm going to finish this. I'll see you back over at the stove. Alright, I put about 3 tablespoons of butter. I may need to add a little bit more. And I just want to lightly soften these. I don't want these super mushy or anything, just lightly sauteed. And oh my goodness, my house is going to be smelling like Thanksgiving in no time. The two things I need Bryant to get at the store is I like to put meat in my dressing. I like to put a little bit of meat. Now I don't have, sometimes I'll have a chicken cut up or cooked up, or chicken breast that I've already cooked up way in advance. Well, I didn't do that this year. We had a little bit of a distraction. We had a sweet, cute, little 8-pound, 4-ounce distraction. So I did not do a lot of the things that I normally do ahead of time. So I'm just going to send Bryant to pick up a rotisserie chicken. I was going to leave it with no meat in it, but he likes it with a little bit of meat. So I said, just grab me a rotisserie chicken and I'll pull the breast off, shred it up, and we'll put that in there. Also, I needed some evaporated milk. And so once those things come, we can put together our dressing. But I'm just going to get this done ahead of time. I'm also going to break up some biscuits. So guys, I was raised with cornbread dressing and loved it until I had Bryant's grandmother's dressing, which was absolutely amazing. And my daughter, it became her favorite thing at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the family would actually pack her up, like save her out several pieces to bring home. She loved it that much. So when I realized that she loved it that much, that I loved it that much, I had to switch and make it their way. You know, us wives have a hard time doing that sometimes, but in this case, they were definitely right. So I just made a set of canned biscuits, and there was 8 in here, but one's missing, so I think Mr. Bryant got in it. And so I'm just pinching it off and breaking it up into this big bowl here. So I think he ate a biscuit, and that's fine. The measurements in this dressing are just approximate. You just need it. You have to. It's kind of a trial and error learning curve. And so I'm just going to break up these biscuits, and then instead of cornbread that I would have traditionally used, I would have still done the biscuits, but instead of that, we put a pack of this herb blend, the seasoned herb blend, the blue pack. There is a yellow pack and a blue pack. We use the blue pack. I actually have 2 of these. And we're going to start with one. We're going to kind of mix it all together, see if it looks right. And I may add some of a second bag. I'm not sure. But right now, I'm just breaking up biscuits. Last biscuit going in. Now we won't put the wet ingredients until I get the chicken and so forth. But let's go ahead and pour in this bag of dry herb. And we're going to give it a stir. All right. So we're just going to, we got that out of the way. Now I don't have to worry about breaking up biscuits, and I can clean my pan and kind of clean up a little bit, and we'll just wait until it's time. Probably the next thing I'll do is get the second pies in the oven, and that is going to be a chocolate chess pie. So good, one of my family's all-time favorites. It'll be going in, and we'll be making it in just a second. The first pies are finally out of the oven. I actually thought they took like double the time that I had originally thought. And then I noticed on the back of my recipe card, I had put a note that I cut the milk down by ½ a cup and added an extra egg. So add 3 eggs and cut down by ½ a cup. Note to self, if you make changes, put it on the front of the recipe card. But anyway, I probably won't get the recipes down in the description throughout Vlogmas, or I'll try to, but they may not always be. But you should be able to search the Farming Pastor's Wife sweet potato pie and it come right up. But if I can, I will get them down in there. All right. So, and if you'll notice, today's video is out super early in the morning. And the reason, because you have Thanksgiving and I want you spending time with your family. Plus, there may be some ideas or recipes in this that you can throw together real fast if you like the idea. And I wanted to get it out to you super early for that reason. So now let's get our second pies going. this is going to be our chocolate pie. So here I have 2 cups of sugar in this mixing bowl. And I'm going in with 2 heaping tablespoons, and I mean heaping of flour. I'm also going in with 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and I heat those up too, not as much, but I still go a little extra. I'm a little extra. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to take a whisk and kind of whisk this up together, getting out any of those sugar clumps or clumps out of the cocoa powder or flour for that matter. All right, now we're going to use a hand mixer in here. So we're going to go in with a stick of melted butter. Now the recipe I'm using right now that you're hearing me talk about is makes 2 pies. So be sure you notice if I say in the recipe if it's 1 pie or 2 pie. Like if you look up the video for this, make sure you know if it says 2 pies or 1 pie. So to that, we're going in with a cup of milk, a couple of teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 eggs. My oven is still on from the pies I just took out. I'll show you those in just a second. All right, I'm gonna get my hand mixer and we're gonna mix this up, and I'll bring you back just as soon as I get it all mixed up. All right, here is our mixture. We're gonna put this into 2 pie crust, again using store-bought pie crust. Grab a spatula. Now this is a chocolate chess pie. Oops, there's some chocolate I didn't get mixed up. These are so good. So I always do a chocolate. We do the sweet potato pumpkin for those who want the traditional fall type, but not all of us like that kind of stuff. So I know chocolate would be the next best thing. So I'm debating on whether or not to make a pound cake. I think I'm going to have plenty of desserts. I got 2 sweet potato pies, 2 chocolate pies, and we do the pumpkin crunch. I think that's going to be plenty. So I think I may hold off on the pound cake or any other cake for a little while. So, all right. We're going in the oven with these 2 chocolate pies for about 30 minutes at 350. So the way you can tell if your sweet potato pies, how did I know to leave them in there longer? If I jiggle the tray, the rack that they're on, if I jiggle it a little bit and they jiggle and they wiggle and jiggle, it's not quite ready. Now there's just a tad bit of jiggle to them, but not much. So you want to get the jiggle out. So same with the chocolate pies. You don't want them to look like it's liquid sliding around in that pie crust. So you get it to where it's at least solid enough that there may be only like a little jello-y like wiggle, but not liquid. So we're going in the oven with this, and I'll see you back when it comes out. This girl right here never, ever, ever eats lunch. But let me tell you, I am today. I have fixed a turkey sandwich. I don't even know if I'm going to eat it all or if this is even what I want. But I'm going to sit down for a little bit and maybe refuel just a little bit. I don't usually eat lunch, but I'm kind of hungry today. So we're going in with a turkey sandwich. Judah and Levi came for a visit and they wanted to have a picnic. Well, everything as far as food goes that's in my refrigerator is designated for some kind of Thanksgiving recipe or goodie recipe. So you make do with Ritz crackers and Oreos and have a picnic on Bubbles' living room floor. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I'm eating crackers and Oreos. And we're watching the Wildcats.
All right, everybody, this girl here is slowing down for the day. I am so pooped, but I got to finish the dressing. So I thought I'd bring you back for the dressing. I hadn't brought you here for everything. I've got yams in the oven. We made the pumpkin crunch cake. I made the chocolate chess pie and the sweet potato pies. And now we're working on the dressing. So here are my biscuits and that Pepperidge Farm herb dressing mix. And I'm going in here with the celery and onions. All right. And we're going to get this all stirred up. So to that, I'm going to add, this was not quite a stick of butter, so somewhere between a half and a whole stick. I think my recipe calls for a half, but like I said, my recipe is just giving you starting places. You kind of have to know this as a technique instead of a actual recipe. You know, some things are actual recipes, and then some things are like just a technique and to know what it's like. This is kind of a technique. I never keep it the same every year. It's a little different every year. All right, so to this we're going to add a can of cream of chicken. All right, and then we're going to grab out some eggs. I don't have them out yet, so let me grab them real quick. We're going to add in 5 eggs. All right, I've got my 5 eggs in there, and I'm just going to take this spatula and kind of break them up just a little bit. One broke as it hit a piece of bread as it went in. All right, so I'm going to open up evaporated milk. Whoops, I already had it open. We're going to go in with a can of evaporated milk. And we're going to open up some chicken broth. I'm going in about with half of this jug of chicken broth. And then we're going to season it up. We're going to add in some salt. And probably a teaspoon to start with. Same with pepper. Okay, and now we're going to add in some sage. I like a lot of sage in my dressing, so we're going in with probably about a tablespoon of sage. And I'm going to add a little bit of poultry seasoning. That's already got some sage already in it, but we're going to add some more. All right, and I have my rotisserie chicken over there. Brian did get that at the store for me. So we are going to mix this together. And I like it's going to look really wet and almost soupy to begin with. And it takes a little while for that liquid to get absorbed by the bread. And we'll let it sit for a little while it absorbs the liquid. And while it's sitting, I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth. While it is sitting, we will pull apart the chicken breast. let that sit for a little bit. I'm going to pull apart the chicken breast and I'll bring you back when we add it in and then we put it in our pan. I won't be baking this until tomorrow though. Alright, so I have mainly one breast here and we're going to see if I think that's enough. We may do both breasts, we'll see. I think one's going to be plenty. I might just reach in that bag and pull off a few other things. But I think that's going to be plenty. And that's about the texture I like it. It's really wet and but yet I can mold it kind of like to a spoon. See, you can see where if I press it up and then turn it over, it's got the mold of the spoon. It's not dry. I think that is going to be plenty. And I think that's plenty of chicken. So I'm going to let it hang out just a little bit to see if we need to add any more liquid, but I think we're good right now, but some of that bread may continue to soak some up. So I'm going to just kind of let it sit here before I'm through stirring. Just going to let it hang out here for just a little bit, and then I'll put it over into my pan that I have sprayed. So we'll see. But that is how I like my dressing. And I may give it one more sprinkling of poultry seasoning and sage before we call it quits. But this is, my house smells just like Thanksgiving right now because of this dish right here. So, dressing is made and in the pan. Candied jams are made and in the pan. The pumpkin crunch is made. Our 4 pies are made, and I'm fixing to finish up the evening by making some honey butter for our rolls tomorrow. Here is our whipped cinnamon honey butter for tomorrow to eat with the yeast rolls. I'll give you a real quick recipe. It's only like 4 ingredients, and so easy, and you need to make it just like this. So let me tell you real quick what you need for your honey butter. Your cinnamon honey butter, and it is so delicious. You need 1 stick of room temperature butter. You need 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and about 1/4 of a cup of honey, and just a few dashes or sprinkles depending on your taste. If you like it real cinnamony, add several dashes. If just lightly, add just a couple, or if you want to skip it all together, that's fine too. Take your hand mixer and whip it up really good together. It is absolutely amazing on yeast rolls and even biscuits. It's going to be delicious. So my family is going to be super excited when they find out I made my honey butter for them. All right, so we're heading over to Caroline's in just a second, and then we'll be back. And then I think we're going to call it a day here for the first day of Vlogmas. Y'all's Thanksgiving, ours the day before Thanksgiving, but I'll come back and say bye in just a little bit. Well, guys, I had to take a break from cooking to get my little Benji fix. And so he knows it's time that Bubbles feeds people. And so she's feeding him, although I didn't make the formula. This makes all the cooking I've done today worth it, this little break. These are candied cranberries. I'll keep you updated on if we like them or not. But they sure are pretty. Well, guys, we're ending up tonight. Bryant just finished up with his church Zoom meeting that he had with some folks at church. I'm sitting down because I'm tired and enjoying my Christmas lights. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a night tonight. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. You'll hear our Thanksgiving message. Of course, it'll be a day after Thanksgiving, but we just hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you on the next one. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.